Pat,
all right.
with Embiid's weekend performance, and nobody knows Embiid better than Ramona Shelburne, who's covered him and written so many articles about him. How is he able to put on such a show in a small amount of time?
Okay, so you remember that scene in Devil Wears Prada where she says, you know, I'm just one stomach flu away from being a perfect size 6? Okay. Joel Embiid had the stomach flu, okay? He was really sick a week or so ago. Couldn't sleep for 3 nights, couldn't eat, lost 10 or 15 pounds. He told me last night, he goes, it's probably a blessing in disguise because he lost all that weight. He feels great. He's bouncy. He's feeling good now. And that is weight that he had put on. Going into the season, he had a little plantar fasciitis and had to kind of take it easy coming into the season for about 6 weeks going into training camp. Felt a little heavy. That stomach flu, well, it sucked to go through while he was out. It actually helped get him right back into the shape that he's in now. And he said it reminded him of last year when he hurt his knee, banged knees with Jonas Valanciunas in the first game of the year, had a little knee problem. Then he got COVID for a couple weeks. That actually let his knee heal. And so it wasn't fun being sick, but if it leads to this, probably worth it.
Well, Joel Embiid, he's feeling a little light, but his game is looking bright because he's light. I want to peel back the curtain a little bit here because in our pre-show meeting before the show, NBA Today, we discussed all things. And Zach, you actually raked this performance by Joel Embiid. Can you say what you told us earlier this morning?
It's the best game he's ever played. It's the best game I've ever seen him play. And defensively, the 7 blocks jump off the page, and they were incredible blocks. The timing, the distance he covered, but just as important, there are 20, 25 possessions in that game where he doesn't block a shot, but he's guarding the pick and roll. He's guarding 2 guys at the same time, and nobody knows what to do because this giant guy is on his toes, his arms spread out, and he's a threat to get any pass, to block any shot, and the offense just freezes in fear of Joel Embiid. He controlled the paint the entire game. And as for the offense,
that Sexton block.
As for the offense, look, I'll just say this. Obviously, you don't need anyone to say it's incredibly impressive. It was so hard. Everything is so hard. The Sixers have just no flow, no organization. It's just, okay, there's 8 on the shot clock, throw it to the big fella. Okay, there's 4 guys around you at the elbow, make a shot. And he made a shot over and over and over again. It shouldn't be that hard.
I want to add on to that in a second, but obviously historical performance from Embiid. And when was the last time we heard in the modern day basketball where a center has controlled both ends of the floor? It's unheard of since Shaq. You know what I mean? But what he was doing out there, the way he was moving like a guard, his mid-range, which we're going to touch on in a little bit, his defense was amazing. But what Zach touched on, this team's still almost lost. You know what I mean? They could have lost this game, and everything was so hard for him. So it's just like, I'm still looking at a team. I had high expectations for this team coming in. They're sitting at 500 right now. Obviously, Harden is hurt, but what's the backbone? What's the foundation of this team? What's the identity of this team? You know, they're kind of middle of the pack in a lot of different categories, but with the talent they have, you think they would be higher.
They need to move the ball more. They need to have an offense outside of getting the ball to Harden or getting the ball to Joel Embiid. But you mentioned the 7 blocks. That's important for him because we've all talked about his MVP chances the last couple of years. Finished second both years to Nikola Jokic. He wants to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. This is the one he has his sights on. 7 blocks in a game like this. And if you look at, he's kind of faded from contention here, but let's see what happens over the next month with James.
But still, his MVP odds have moved from 22-1 all the way down to 12-1. He now has the 5th shortest odds to win MVP behind co-favorites Luka, Giannis, Tatum, and Steph. Their team really looks a lot different without James Harden on the court. Harden last played, Vince, November 2nd. What is the best recipe for the Sixers offense moving forward?
Well, I just want to add one thing to what you guys were talking about, and it has to do with Joel Embiid. And we know he can score on all 3 levels whenever he wants. But the one thing I like about what we saw in that game with Joel Embiid when he scored 59 points was he established himself in the post first, being dominant in the post, which establishes that mentality, that killer mentality that I can score or get a bucket however I want, but it's being physical in the paint first. Then he worked his way to the mid-range, and obviously that set up the 1 3-point shot. But then he's able to get to the paint and do what he wants to do, however he wants to do, while still dictating, saying, hey, no, go this way because I'm going that way. But it's the mentality that he'd established in the post first. So I think you still play through Embiid while you have James Harden, but Embiid establishing himself in the post, and then everything can kind of fall and be dictated off of that in pick and roll, or you can now get the ball to Maxey because he's another guy I think you need to feature as well. But everything goes, in my opinion, when Embiid is playing like this, and everybody else can kind of fall in line. But you have to find ways to get guys moving instead of just watching.
Yeah, it's true, but he did allow himself to be reintroduced, okay? And that's what I love about Joel Embiid. Right. Now, before we move on from the Sixers conversation, the most important question that we have, how did we feel about the jerseys in the court, the brotherly love jerseys in court?
If they got him 59 points, I'm not mad at him. Wear him again. If he's going to score like that, wear him every game.
It works.
Vince, what'd you think? What'd you think of the court and the jerseys?
Like you said, hey, if it works, man, I like the new jersey. But, hey, they scoring 59 and get wins while their other guy is out, and they have to just play through that man. He showed some brotherly love, and they trusted him, and he put them on his back.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. And my, oh my, Joel Embiid last night against the Jazz, 59 points. Incredible. 59 points. This guy was just on a rampage. And I thought, with James Harden being out and the only secondary scorer would be Tyrese Maxey, but then you got PJ Tucker, you got a couple other pieces here and there. But at the end of the day, Joel Embiid, he put on a clinic last night. I honestly thought Doc Rivers' coach status was going to be let go, right? In a couple games here and there, but Joel Embiid kept that alive last night. 59 points and incredible performance. I just don't I had a poll asking who would be the MVP, and I'm pretty sure nobody voted for Joel Embiid. That poll is still up. We'll see what happens, but last night's performance, 59 points. Insane. I don't know how long James Harden's out for. I think it's another 3 weeks maybe. But he put on a clinic last night, and in my opinion, he should be the MVP. If he play not total MVP, he should be in the MVP consideration. But last year, he was just phenomenal. Right, because he had no Ben Simmons. At that time, he had no James Harden, and he was just putting up numbers like crazy. So, can Joel Embiid return to the MVP status that he had last year? Leave a comment in the comment section. Legit question, because last night proved that he's still that damn dominant against the number one seeded team in the West, the Utah Jazz. Leave a comment in the comment section. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.